Some stories don't have an ending. They linger, unfinished, like a melody cut short. They haunt the edges of our minds, refusing to fade away. They just stop, leaving a chilling question mark in the air. A void where resolution should be. A constant reminder of the fragility of life and the unsettling nature of the unexplained. This is one of those stories, the story of Lauren Spierer. A name etched in the collective memory of a community, a symbol of unanswered questions. Lauren was a vibrant Indiana University student, navigating the challenges and excitement of college life. Full of life and promise, dreams of a future she would never get to realize, a potential cut tragically short. One night she walked out into the Bloomington darkness, unaware that it would be her last, and vanished, leaving behind a void that can never truly be filled. The real horror here isn't a visible monster, but the unknown. The lurking fear that something terrible can happen in the most ordinary of places. A silence that's lasted over a decade. A decade of unanswered prayers, of relentless searching, of a community grappling with the weight of uncertainty. Summer 2011, Bloomington, Indiana. A typical college town, buzzing with the energy of youth and the promise of summer break. A town alive with youth, but hiding shadows. Beneath the surface of carefree fun, a darkness lurked, waiting to consume. Lauren, just 20, was studying fashion merchandising, her head filled with designs and dreams of runways. Her future wide open, a canvas waiting to be filled with her creativity, her ambition, her life. But a single night, a few small decisions, seemingly insignificant at the time, changed everything, forever altering the course of her life and the lives of those who loved her. The familiar streets became a maze, a labyrinth of unanswered questions and dead ends. And Lauren became a ghost, a haunting presence in the memories of those who knew her. Her name forever linked to a mystery, a case that continues to baffle investigators and torment a community. The terror lies in the ordinary, the realization that something horrific can happen in the most mundane of circumstances. A night out, a simple pleasure, a chance to unwind and connect with friends. A few drinks, a social lubricant, a way to ease inhibitions and enjoy the moment. A walk home, a routine journey, a familiar path taken countless times before. For Lauren, this ordinary night became a nightmare, a descent into the unknown from which she never returned. It's a primal fear, the fear of the dark, the fear of the dark, the fear of the unknown, the fear of being alone and vulnerable. That safety is an illusion, a fragile construct that can be shattered in an instant. And someone can vanish without a trace, leaving behind only questions and a lingering sense of unease. So we look back, retracing steps, scrutinizing every detail, searching for a clue, a sign, anything that might explain the inexplicable. Searching for the moment everything went wrong, the turning point, the instant when Lauren's fate was sealed. The details are incomplete, the timeline frustrating, filled with gaps and inconsistencies that only deepen the mystery. It's a puzzle with missing pieces, a frustrating enigma that defies easy solutions. Always ending at a quiet street corner, in the pre-dawn light, a desolate intersection where the trail goes cold. And then, nothing, a void, an emptiness that echoes with the absence of a young woman's life. Just silence, a heavy, oppressive silence that speaks volumes about the pain and uncertainty that remain. A young woman, seen for the last time, her image forever frozen in the memories of those who searched for her, swallowed by the unknown. A victim of circumstance, a casualty of a mystery that may never be solved. The story doesn't end, it just stops, abruptly, cruelly, leaving us with a sense of profound loss and unanswered questions. And we're left searching for answers, clinging to the hope that one day, the truth will finally come to light. Friday, June 3rd, 2011. The calendar marked the date, a Friday night promising freedom and fun. The clock ticked. each second pulling Lauren closer to a series of events that would forever alter the course of her life and the lives of those around her. The university campus, usually a beacon of learning and growth, was now cloaked in the shadows of the night, unaware of the drama about to unfold within its boundaries. The end of the school year, a night of celebration. Students rejoiced, their faces alight with the anticipation of summer break and the accomplishments they had achieved. Graduation parties buzzed with energy, marking the culmination of years of hard work and the beginning of new adventures. The university campus, usually a place of quiet study, was transformed into a vibrant hub of revelry and camaraderie. Lauren started her evening with friends at her flat, laughter filling the air. The apartment was a flurry of activity as the girls prepped for the night ahead, sharing stories and dreams. The atmosphere was light and carefree, a perfect prelude to what they hoped would be an unforgettable night. Little did they know, the laughter would soon be replaced by worry and fear. She had a heart condition, long QT syndrome, a silent threat lurking beneath the surface of her vibrant life. This genetic condition, affecting the heart's electrical system, made her vulnerable to potentially life-threatening arrhythmias. It was a constant reminder of her fragility, a secret she carried with her as she navigated the joys and challenges of young adulthood. So alcohol was risky, a detail that would haunt the night. The carefree atmosphere of the party masked a dangerous reality for Lauren. Each drink consumed was a gamble, a potential trigger for her heart condition. The warning signs about alcohol, usually dismissed by college students, held a much graver significance for her. This seemingly small detail would soon cast a long shadow over the events to come. Lauren and David Rohn left for a party, stepping out into the night, eager to join the festivities. The cool night air invigorated them as they made their way through the bustling streets, surrounded by other students on similar missions. The promise of music, dancing, and good company hung in the air, masking the potential dangers that lurked in the shadows. Then met Jay Rosenbaum, heading to Kilroy's bar. The trio joined the throng of students making their way to the popular bar, their laughter and chatter adding to the cacophony of the night. Kilroy's was a well-known haunt, a place where students gathered to unwind and celebrate the end of the school year. The bar was packed, the music loud, a sensory overload of sights and sounds. The air was thick with the smell of alcohol and sweat. Sensory overload of sights and sounds. The air was thick with the smell of alcohol and sweat. The energy vibrated through the floor, creating an atmosphere of frenzied excitement. The pulsating music vibrated through the floor, creating an atmosphere of frenzied excitement. Night typical, until it wasn't. What started as an ordinary college night out would soon take a dark and unexpected turn. The carefree atmosphere would be shattered, replaced by confusion, fear, and ultimately tragedy. The mundane details of the evening would become haunting reminders of what was lost. Lauren was seen on CCTV, enjoying herself, dancing and laughing with her friends. The grainy footage captured a fleeting glimpse of her happiness, a moment frozen in time before the night took its fateful turn. The security camera, an impartial observer, recorded the events unfolding, unaware of the significance they would later hold. But friends noticed she seemed more intoxicated than usual. Her behavior became increasingly erratic, her movements unsteady, and her speech slurred. A sense of unease began to creep into the group as they realized something was amiss. The carefree atmosphere of the night began to dissipate, replaced by a growing sense of concern. She left Kilroy's, leaving behind her phone and shoes, a puzzling detail that would later become a crucial piece of the puzzle. The abandoned item spoke volumes, hinting at a state of mind that was far from rational. It was as if she had shed her identity, leaving behind the very things that connected her to the world. A strange, unsettling choice. The empty shoes and abandoned phone painted a picture of a night spiraling out of control. The circumstances surrounding her departure were shrouded in mystery. leaving her friends and family with the unanswered questions and a gnawing sense of dread. Why? Was it a drunken mistake or something more? The questions swirled, unanswered and unsettling. Was she simply disoriented from the alcohol, or was there a more sinister explanation for her actions? The mystery deepened with each passing moment, casting a long shadow over the events of the night. Past 2:30 a.m., Lauren left with Corey Rossman, the early hours of the morning blurring the lines of judgment and reason. The streets were emptying as the night drew to a close, but for Lauren, the night was far from over. The encounter with Corey Rossman would prove to be a pivotal moment, setting in motion a chain of events that would lead to tragedy. Both appearing heavily intoxicated, their movements were unsteady, their speech slurred, their judgment impaired by the effects of alcohol. They stumbled through the streets, their vulnerability exposed in the darkness of the night. The combination of alcohol and fatigue made them easy targets, unaware of the dangers that lurked around them. They headed toward a flat, their destination seemingly clear, their path straightforward. The familiar route should have led them to safety, to the comfort of her own bed. But fate had other plans, and their journey would soon take an unexpected turn, but detoured to Corey's instead. A sudden change of plans, a deviation from the intended course. The decision to go to Corey's apartment would prove to be a fatal mistake, leading Lauren down a path from which she would never return. The seemingly insignificant detour would have devastating consequences. This was the first turn away from safety, a critical juncture, a point of no return. The decision to deviate from the original plan marked the beginning of a downward spiral, leading Lauren further and further away from help and closer to danger. The night was just beginning to unravel. The carefully constructed facade of a fun and carefree evening was crumbling, revealing the dark and unpredictable reality that lay beneath. The threads of fate were beginning to tangle, leading to a chaotic and tragic outcome. Each step took Lauren further from home, both physically and metaphorically. With every stride, she distanced herself from the safety and security of her familiar surroundings, venturing deeper into the unknown and the potentially dangerous. And closer to the unknown. The path ahead was shrouded in mystery, filled with unseen dangers and ominous shadows. The uncertainty of what lay ahead added to the growing sense of unease, hinting at the tragic events that were about to unfold. The path ahead was growing darker. The shadows lengthened, obscuring the way forward and foreshadowing the tragic events that were about to unfold. The darkness seemed to close in, suffocating any hope of a positive outcome. The night was still young, but at Corey Rossman's flat, things were about to take a dark turn and spiral out of control. The carefree atmosphere of a typical college gathering was quickly dissolving into a series of unfortunate events. Rossman, already heavily intoxicated, was becoming increasingly unsteady on his feet. The effects of the alcohol were taking their toll, blurring his vision and impairing his judgment. In a moment of clumsiness fueled by intoxication, he lost his footing and fell down the stairs. The sudden impact echoed through the apartment building, a jarring sound that cut through the night. His flatmate, Mike Beth, along with Lauren, immediately rushed to his aid. They struggled to help the injured Rossman, their concern etched on their faces as they tried to get him safely into bed. Seeing Lauren's worry, Beth urged her to stay the night, suggesting she sleep it off rather than venture out alone in her distressed state. He felt responsible for her safety, knowing the dangers that lurked in the darkness. But Lauren, despite the late hour and the unsettling events, insisted on leaving. Her mind was made up, and she wouldn't be swayed. Beth, reluctantly respecting her decision, walked her out of the apartment. He watched as she headed in the direction of her own building, a sense of unease settling over him as he saw her disappear into the night. But instead of going home, she didn't go home. She didn't go home. She made a fateful decision that would alter the course of the night. Instead, Lauren walked to Jay Rosenbaum's flat, another acquaintance in the close-knit college community. The reasons behind this detour remained shrouded in mystery. Rosenbaum later claimed that Lauren arrived with a visible black eye, a shocking detail that raised immediate questions about what had transpired before she reached his doorstep. He also claimed that he'd sustained his own injuries, a punch to the face, while confronting someone on the street, adding another layer of complexity to the already confusing narrative. Concerned for her well-being, he tried to persuade her to stay, urging her to seek help and safety within his apartment. He even called friends, desperately seeking assistance and guidance in dealing with the increasingly troubling situation. But Lauren, seemingly determined to face whatever lay ahead on her own, stubbornly refused all offers of help. Just after 4:30 a.m., the early morning darkness clinging to the streets, Lauren prepared to leave Rosenbaum's apartment. Rosenbaum watched from his balcony, a silent observer as she stepped out into the cool night air. He watched as Lauren walked barefoot and alone into the night, her silhouette disappearing into the shadows. She turned the corner, heading in the general direction of her flat, each step carrying her further into the unknown. He was the last known person to see her alive, a haunting fact that would forever link him to her disappearance. Lauren's walk home was nearly over, the familiar streets leading her closer to the safety and comfort of her own bed. But instead of reaching her destination, she was about to disappear, vanishing without a trace into the darkness, leaving behind a mystery that would grip the community and baffle investigators for years to come. Lauren's final moments are lost in uncertainty. After leaving Rosenbaum's, she walked alone, barefoot in the pre-dawn quiet. Around 4:30 a.m., a neighbor reported hearing a single, piercing scream. Was it Lauren? No one knows. Another tip, a white pickup truck circling the block near where Lauren vanished. Police searched for the truck, but it led nowhere. No witnesses saw an abduction. No struggle, no CCTV of her last steps. She was there one moment, gone the next. A young woman, just blocks from home, erased from existence. The sun rose, but for Lauren the world ended. No evidence, no answers. Only a haunting image, Lauren answers. Only a haunting image, Lauren answers. Only a haunting image, Lauren. Alone stepping into the unknown. The timeline shatters here, and the mystery deepened. The next morning, Lauren's boyfriend texted. No reply. He called. Her phone went to voicemail. He found her flat empty, purse and keys inside. Lauren was reported missing. Her parents, Charlene and Robert, flew in, instantly becoming advocates in the search. They held press conferences, pleading for answers, their grief visible to all. The community rallied, search parties, flyers, a town united in hope. Find Lauren became a mantra. But despite massive efforts, nothing was found. No trace of Lauren. For her parents, every day was agony, caught between hope and horror. They met with those who saw Lauren last, searching for truth in their eyes. Their lives became a relentless quest for answers. The investigation zeroed in on the men from Lauren's final night. Rossman, Beth, Rosenbaum, all quickly hired lawyers, fueling suspicion. Their stories were scrutinized, timelines dissected, but inconsistencies remained. No one was charged. The wall of silence held. Police faced a nightmare: no crime scene, no body, no evidence. Search warrants were executed, phone records checked, hundreds interviewed. Every lead dissolved. A landfill was searched for days. Nothing found. The investigation hit dead ends, the void swallowing every clue. Over the years, new names and theories surfaced. Other missing persons, rumors of gangs. The Spierers filed a civil suit, hoping to force answers. But it was dismissed. The core group stayed silent. The case remained open, but progress stalled. The truth stayed hidden. The silence was unbreakable. And Lauren remained missing. In the absence of evidence, theories multiplied. One led police to search a property linked to a convicted sex offender. Nothing was found. Hopes rose, then collapsed. In 2016, Mike Beth died by suicide, taking any secrets with him. Tips poured in from across the country, but none led to Lauren. The case became a collection of rumors, whispers, and what-ifs. The white truck, the scream, the searches, all dead ends. Someone knows what happened, but they remain silent. The years brought only fleeting hope and endless frustration. The mystery deepened, the silence endured. For over a decade, Lauren's parents have lived in limbo. Their lives split into before and after. Every day is a battle against grief and uncertainty. They run websites, work with investigators, and cling to hope. The pain of not knowing is relentless. No closure, no peace. The community, too, is haunted. Lauren's story changed Bloomington forever. Safety feels fragile. The sense of security shattered. The weight of the unknown presses on everyone touched by the case. The story remains unfinished, the final chapter unwritten. Silence is a wound that never healed. 14 years have passed since Lauren Spierer vanished. The persons of interest moved on. New students know her only as a legend. For her family, time hasn't dulled the pain or the questions. The simplest, most chilling answer: Lauren crossed paths with a predator. Was it a stranger or someone she knew? Every theory hits the same wall of silence. In a world of surveillance, Lauren left behind only a few images and 1,000 questions. Her absence is the true horror. No evidence, no answers, no Lauren. Until someone breaks the silence, her ghost will walk Bloomington streets. The story waits for an ending that may never come.